This next one I'm going to play, it's on a live album that was released 40 years ago in 3 months today. 10th of July, basically. And this is called I've Been Out Walking. This one is it's the first Tim Buckley song I ever heard. It's on Happy Sad. this strange feeling deep down in my heart. I can't tell what it is, but it won't let go. It happens every time. I give you more than what I have. Now all I need is a little time to sing a song. I think we're gonna find a way to lose this strange feeling now all around. I feel it, darling, now. When you're home all alone, now what don't you need? Somebody to talk your own troubles to. Lord, I know, yeah, I know I'm gonna catch the morning train of the brave day. Please believe not just what I say. We're gonna take that strange feeling now all away. Well, it's just like the mockingbird singing on the hillside, shouting out in morning song. Now, don't you fret, don't you weep, don't you wail, don't you moan. Can you hear that whippoorwill calling? No, don't you worry. It's coming home. It's gonna take those blues away. Please believe me, I'm just what I say. We're gonna take that strange feeling now all away. This is called Phantasmagoria too. Every fiddle I played you a song, my love. And if I gave you a wheel, would you spin for my heart and loneliness? Would you spin for my love? If I gave up all of my pride for you and all that I love you for now, would you hide all my fears and never say for you. Tell me of sin and our love. If you tell me of all the pain you've had, I'll never smile again. Everywhere there's rain, my love. Everywhere there's fear. I can clearly see that our paths have changed. Our sands are shifting around. Need I beg of you for one last day? To find our love. Everywhere there's rain, my love. Everywhere there's fear. Say everywhere there's rain, my love. Everywhere there's fear. Thank you.
We've got some brilliant artists lined up, absolutely superb. I think you're going to have a really, really good night. And now I'd like to introduce the second artist of this evening. She's a great friend of mine and she has an incredible voice. It's Helena C Carta.
song. I hope you enjoy it.
Once I was a soldier, and I fought on foreign sands for you. And once I was a hunter, and I brought home fresh meat for you. And once I was your lover, and I searched behind your eyes for truth. Soon there'll be another to tell you I was just a lie. And sometimes just for a while, will you ever remember me? And though we have forgotten all of our rubbish dreams, I find myself searching through the ashes of our ruins. In the days when we smiled, and the hours I remember, through the magic of your eyes, and the silence of your words, and sometimes I wonder just for a while, will you ever remember me? And sometimes I wonder just for a while, do you ever remember me?
The next artist is Jedd Holden. Here he is.
This song is from Dream Letters, which was recorded in 1960. It was Tim Buckley live concert, and it's called Carnival Song.
dance a while. Come dance and dance and dance a while. Come dance and dance and dance a while with me. My my dreams of coming, of going forever inside the rivers of time. There you find me waiting for you to find peace in your mind. So be my love Don't you say another word now, but I'm fully aware of the boy next door leaking in your window. Oh, mama, know how he knows you well, and it's all that at the corner store. Gives you candy, what is more. Lord, I picture your smile, running on the line for mine. This smile to warm your heart. Well, it's just like a mockingbird singing on a hillside, chirping out his golden soul. Well, don't you weep, don't you sweat, don't you moan, don't you cry, no. Give me the weep of whoever called it. Baby, can you Some men, they read the religion, they read out of books, but all I gotta do is stare at you, darling. You're all I know, and that's the way it's gonna be. So just smile and warm your heart. Lord, it's just like a mockingbird singing on the hillside, chirping out his morning soul. Well, don't you weep, don't you sweat, don't you ever moan now. Can't hear the weeping whoever called me. Baby, can you hear it call?
This one's from Happy Sad.
Sometimes I in the morning, Lord,
Right, that was Buzzing Fly, and this is Sing a Song for You. In my heart is where I long for you. In my smile I search for you each time. You turn away, I cry inside my silly way too young to know anymore. In my world, the dark dances and dares to leave my soul anywhere until I find peace in this world. I'll sing a song where I am too young to know anymore. The wind covers the cold, but starry skies all around my eyes. Far behind the city walls, well, there people there know the songs they long to hear. So let me sing a song for you, one I've known so very long. Let me sing a song for you, one to help your day along. Oh, please, will you find the time?
Evening, everybody. It's very nice to be here, I must say. Actually, at my age, it's nice to be anywhere. But it is particularly good, actually, to see, because I mean, you know, prior to an evening like this, you're not really quite sure what to expect, and I was really sort of 80% expecting the theatre to be full of people from my generation who experienced Tim Buckley first time round. So it's particularly good to see a new generation of people who've come to discover his music and appreciate it so much. It's really, really good. I started doing my radio programmes. I first moved to London in 1966, so I arrived at the time when, you know, the Britpop music was so popular, where the culture in London at the time was just so exciting. It was an incredible place to be. In fact, a friend of mine, Jeff Dexter, is here tonight as well, and Jeff used to run a club called UFO and have these spectacular happenings on Fridays and Saturday nights at a little basement in Tottenham Court Road, and then subsequently at the Roundhouse. And he also ran a club in Covent Garden called Middle Earth that I used to kind of live at. John Peel and Jeff were the two DJs there. And it was it was an incredibly exciting time for the emergence of new bands. You know, when I first moved to London, I came up here with a singles collection, mostly made up of you know, the Beatles and the Stones and the Searchers and the Crystals and the Ronettes and all the Phil Spector stuff, the Beach Boys, Tamla Motown, Atlantic. It was James Brown. It was an incredible sort of potpourri of music that was going into the singles charts. But when I arrived in London, what people were beginning to listen to were albums. Oh wow, you know, Blonde on Blonde Cream's Disraeli Gears and all of this kind of stuff, by Yanch, Roy Harper, people like this, that to a singles collector from Northampton, this was amazing new music and a new discovery, and in amongst it all was this incredible label called Elektra. And as I began to find out more about Elektra, I realised that they'd been seeped in really good American folk music already for a number of years, but at the point that I discovered them, were now beginning to sign such as Paul Butterfield Blues Band, Judy Collins, Love, and the Forever Changes and Da Capo album that came before it, The Doors. And right in the middle of all of this, on this incredible new label, to me at any rate, were a small handful of very, very influential songwriters, singer-songwriters, among whom was Tim Buckley. And although coming up to London when I did, I just missed the original Tim Buckley album. I did catch Goodbye Hello, and I did buy Happy Sad, which were the first two albums of his, the all final albums that went into my collection, and I immediately realised that, like a number of his contemporaries, that it just, hello everybody, back from the bar. You know, this is a new approach to music, a completely free thinking approach to music, which hadn't necessarily been prevalent before. I mean, in the 50s, you know, the rock and roll singles, in the late 50s, early 60s, and the Brill Building, and all of this, when everything was based around that 2.5, 3 minute impact off the jukebox, there were a lot of great records made in that era, but it wasn't until probably the mid-60s, and then you could say Revolver, and in particular Sgt. Pepper, that artists felt a bit freer to expand a little bit and express themselves less rigidly through 8, 9, 10 minute, if they wanted to, tracks on an album, or in the case of Bob Dylan with Blonde on Blonde, an entire side, you know, of one song. Wow, you know, double album. Wow, you know, these were all sort of innovations at the time which were exciting and interesting and just pulled you into this stuff somehow. So Tim Buckley was, even against some of his contemporaries who already were beginning to experiment, Tim was doing the same. His voice in particular, the way that he used his voice, the way that he created this sort of texture with his voice, that his voice was a part of almost the instrumental music. It was like, you know, Mark Bolan a bit used to do the same thing, kind of making up words as he kind of went along and using his voice. In Mark's case, it was a sort of warble, something that buried into the rest of the instrumental around it, in the way of it being part of the instrumental effect of the album as well. And Tim Buckley was doing this, and this was all extremely interesting. It was also, as time then began to go by, fascinating to see him not in any way conforming to the idea that he's now had a couple of reasonably successful chart albums, and of course the sort of wisdom was that you follow those albums up with something similar, you build on the success. But he rejected that path and began to experiment in some of his other, you know, musical areas that were really a great love of his, jazz in particular. And having found an audience, the perception at the time was that he abandoned that audience to move on to another particularly individual style of music, and having found another sort of niche, moved again. He was never really one to be tied down into any particular path or success heat-seeking mode. He just wanted to make the music that he really just wanted to make. It's very, very admirable. I mean, one of the odd things, though, now you sort of spin through 40 odd years and look at some of the artists that have been appreciated more recently from that time. And I just 3 weeks ago, we broadcast on Radio 2 a documentary that I made about Sandy Denny. She and Nick Drake and Tim Buckley are the three figures really from that era, the late 60s, early 70s, that have been discovered and adopted by successive generations since. I think with Tim, obviously, it was the success, or the emergence anyway, in the mid-90s of his son, Jeff, that maybe was the signpost for people who discovered Jeff, who then maybe discovered, oh, he's got this dad who used to sing as well. And it's a sad and strange kind of irony, really, that they spent so little time together during Tim's lifetime. In fact, they, as I'm sure you know, but they really only met and spent any kind of quality time together only a few weeks before Tim passed away at the end of the tour that he undertook. Meanwhile, he had made several visits to Britain, and I mentioned Jeff Dexter a few minutes ago, and as I say, Jeff used to run the Middle Earth Club in Covent Garden, and he's brought with him tonight this really, it's a lovely piece of artwork that represents the posters that the club had distributed on the night that Tim Buckley played. And it's interesting to see some of the other people around on that bill and on the bills of nights just before and after. And it's an amazing list. Pink Floyd, the Moody Blues, the Nice, the Crazy World of Arthur Brown, John Mayall's Blues Breakers, Family, a particular favourite of mine, Arlo Guthrie, Soft Machine, Brian Auger, Julie Driscoll of the Trinity, and Fairport Convention are on bills. They're either artists sharing the bill on that night with Tim and Roy Harper, or were on subsequent nights that weekend or the following weekend. So it's that sort of company that Tim Buckley was keeping at that time. One of the people that figured large in the early part of Tim Buckley's career was his co-lyricist, Larry Beckett. And I think probably already you may have heard some of the correspondence that's come in from people who knew Tim or just who wanted to contribute to this evening that people have been reading on stage tonight. And I've got a poem that Larry Beckett has written, which he sent and asked for us to read to you tonight. So that's how it looks on paper. And it reads, in the back room, I saw the new moon in his dark arms and shivered. Oh, we were two in love with her, crescent till his voice in fury wrapped into waves. 7 years I listened to birds, no other song. That's a poem written especially for this evening by Tim's co-writer Larry Beckett.
Absolutely fantastic. Really good to have someone like Bob Harris here. I thought that was really good. Okay. Next up we have another artist who's going to be playing some fantastic songs, and he will also be reading a letter which is from this book, which is Dream Brother by David Brown. So please give him a very warm welcome. It's Tom Clark.
I was just going to say, I just want to thank Jay for all his hard work and the friends he's got around him. So I wonder if everyone could give a big hand for Jay for organising this tonight. He's done really, really well. He's really nervous as well. He's been hiding behind the curtain. You don't remember what to say. You don't remember what to do. You don't remember where to go. You don't remember who to choose.
Sweet lover,
It's a letter from David Brown. I don't know if you read Dream by another book. I'll never forget the first time I experienced Tim Buckley. Flipping through the cutout bin at my local record store, I came across a copy of Look at the Fool. I read things about Tim and had heard he'd died a few years before. I'd heard Blood, Sweat and Tears, cover of Morning Glory, but I'd never actually heard Tim's own records. I lived in New Jersey at the time, and not a single radio station there, or even in nearby New York City, played his music. But since I've always had a fondness for left-field singer-songwriters, I was thrilled to come across one of Tim's records, and for 99 cents at that. Sitting in the back of my parents' car, examining the cover and the liner notes, I couldn't wait to get home and play the LP. Since I did know Morning Glory, I was expecting a wistful melodic folk rock record. But no, what emerged from the tiny stereo system in my bedroom was something strange and unexpected. A record of slippery, sleazy white soul. Wait, I thought to myself, is this the same Tim Buckley? Where are the gentle, wafting ballads, the hints of folk and jazz, and the sorrowful voice I was anticipating? In time, I sought out other Tim LPs. No easy feat in these days before CD reissues, never mind the MP3 era. Some of them, like the lovely Happy Sad, were more what I was expecting. Others, like the Wild-Eyed Star Sailor, I wasn't. And I found them all utterly fascinating. Although I never had the good fortune of meeting Tim from afar, he ended up teaching me something so valuable, that the best path for any artist to follow is one dictated by the heart and instincts, not anyone else's predetermined ideas. So here's to Tim, his songs, and the inspiration he's been to fans and musicians alike. And here's to a great show tonight. Me, I couldn't be happier that I forked over that 99 cents so long ago. It's a song called Dolphins.
Sometimes I think about Saturday's child and all about the time we were running wild. I've been searching for the dolphins in the sea. But sometimes I wonder, do you ever think of me? This old world will never change, or the way it's been, and all your ways of war can't change it back again. I've been searching for the dolphins in the sea. But sometimes I wonder, do you ever think of me? searching for the dolphins in the sea. This whole world will never change. This whole world will never change. This whole world will never change.
Happy time inside my mind when the melody just finds around. It says to me, I'm coming home to stay. Yeah, I'm coming home to stay. Now it's just the same old story. Something about love and glory. Nickel and a dime a dozen fade. Oh, it's such a shame. Oh, it's such a shame. Such a shame. Now it's just my old song, hoping that you'll come along. Hey, before we have to move along. Yeah, have to move along. We'll be back someday. Back someday. Well, it's a happy time inside my mind where the melody just finds around and says to me, I'm coming home to stay. I'm coming home to stay. That's right. We'll be back someday. Coming home, coming home, coming home to stay. I'm coming home to stay. Stay. Coming home to stay. And we'll be back someday. Back Thank you. Hello, good evening. It's more like it. Hope you're alright. Standing around the roses. Standing around the roses. surprised to see your baby with another girl.
Sally go round the roses.
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 Roses that can't hurt you.
Roses they can't hurt you.
Roses that can't hurt you.
The roses they can't hurt you. Oh, Sally, don't you go downtown. And Sally, don't you go down in town. But the saddest thing in the whole wide world is to see your baby with another girl.
Sally go round the roses.
Sally go round the pretty roses.
Sally go round the roses.
Sally go round the pretty roses.
Roses won't tell secrets.
The roses can't tell your secrets.
Roses tell no secrets.
The roses won't tell secrets. Oh, Sally, don't you cry. Let your head down. And Sally, don't you cry. Let your head down. But the saddest thing in the whole wide world is to see your baby with another girl.
Sally go round the roses.
Sally go round the roses.
Sally go round the roses.
Sally go round the pretty roses.
Roses that can't hurt you.
The roses they can't hurt you.
Roses that can't hurt you.
The roses they can't hurt you. Oh, Sally, don't you go downtown. Hey, Sally, don't you go downtown. 'Cause the saddest thing in the whole world is to see your baby with another Thank you. Okay, we got a script. I just want to say big thanks to Jay, Mr. Dubber, out there.
Yeah.
Brilliant guy, brilliant, organised. He's so organised. He's brilliant. I'm going to read this out. I'm just, what attracted me to Tim as well in his music was just like, he just refused to typecast himself as just a folk rock singer, you know. He wanted to try all sorts of improvisational music. This next song I want to do is going to show his kind of more jazzy side. But first I'd like to read this. I'd like to thank everyone involved in this tribute to Tim, especially Jay Dover for producing the event and all the musicians who contributed tonight. Yeah. I hope that everyone here has enjoyed hearing the many aspects of Tim's work. It really touches my heart that people are still celebrating his music more than 30 years after his passing. For too many years, Tim's career was observed solely by fans of one or all of his artistic phases, although the musicians he worked with and others who admired his work always knew that Tim's willingness to stretch his musical muscles showed how far ahead of his time he really was. Now the world has turned enough to catch up to his vision, and the boundaries he pushed to establish have become an accepted part of today's sonic landscape, a fitting reflection of his musical legacy. Let us not forget that there were always collaborators in Tim's constant search for going where no man had gone before, most notably lyricist Larry Beckett and long-time guitar player Lee Underwood. These two fellow travellers often acted as sounding boards for Tim's thinking and were major contributors in shaping how a finished song expressed musical and poetic ideas. Tim would be extremely gratified to know that the battles he fought over his music had proved him to be right. One song played tonight, Song to the Siren, was almost discarded, but has since become one of his most covered songs, and quite rightly so. There is no doubt in my mind that Tim is enjoying himself immensely right now. Pulling Jeff, who was very much the son of the father, to one side and digging him in the ribs, happy to show him proof that he was indeed the father of the son. Judy Buckley.
This is a live mic. Hello everybody. What a wonderful place to see us. It feels like just being at home, especially as I'm here with my dear old pal. I've shared the stage with Bob Harris for the first time since 1971. First time we've actually been talking together and doing it all that time, though we still see each other all the time. What a lovely man. And I'm honoured to be here tonight. Thank you very much for having me to introduce the last little piece. But I'll give you a couple of little stories about Tim coming here. I was lucky enough to be the first person to introduce him here back in May the 5th, 1968. And he was a great looking guy. Oh my God, it was great going out with him because it was like going out with a magnet, and when you're a young man, that's terrific. He's also a very interesting chap, great singer, great writer. We hung out in nightclubs together and ended up talking till 7, 8 o'clock in the morning at a wonderful place called the Maze at the Kensington the Kensington Park Hotel, where we got set upon by 3 crazy transvestites. But we still had fun with it. But he was quite a magic person, and as I said to Bob earlier on, and he could have borrowed my line, I found him to be a celestial man, and had a different feeling from most other people around at that time. And I think that's why we're all here remembering him tonight. I'm going to introduce you to a guy who we're going to set up a fund tonight to send him to Austin, Texas. Any pennies in my hat at the end of the night will start it going right here. Here to play a celestial tribute is Stuart Masters. Thank you very much.
Hello everybody. What a great night. I've got a letter to read before I play. I've been in contact with Lee Underwood, who's Tim's lead guitarist on about 7 out of 9 of his albums, and played live with him several times right from the beginning. Isn't it wonderful how Tim is bringing all of us together more than 40 years after he recorded his first album in 1966, and over 30 years since he left the room in 1975. You are here because Tim and his music move you deeply. These wonderful musicians are here because Tim and his music move them deeply. And I am here too because Tim and his music continue to move me deeply across the rainbow span of these many years. He always wanted to bring people together harmoniously when he played on stages across America and Europe, and he did that with great flair. And now because of you, he is doing it again right here, right now in this hall, through this marvellous celebration of him and the songs he created over the course of a mere 9 years. As listeners and players, you keep the flame of Tim's creativity alive down through the decades to this very day. I sang my song for Tim and the crazy life we had in Venice, California, in my book Blue Melody, Tim Buckley Remembered, and I posted additional material about Tim on my website at leeunderwood.net. In the recent DVD, My Fleeting House, you can see Tim himself performing music from every phase of his astonishing musical development, including Song to the Siren, composed in 1967, into Come Here Woman from Star Sailor to Honeyman from Sophronia, with many songs in between. For this celebration here tonight, these dedicated musicians will bring you a host of Tim's songs, or have brought you, infusing them with their heartfelt appreciation of Tim's multi-dimensional vision of love and beauty. Thank you so much for being here. I am here beside you. Through the air that unites us all, I send my love and smiles and highest regards to each and every one of you. So let's get it on and keep on keeping on. Lee Underwood. This is perhaps one of the songs that Tim's most remembered for. This is Blue Melody.
Burn So if you hear the blue melody, won't you please send it home to me? It was a blue melody, such a blue you never see.
Crikey, it's hot. The next song I wrote to Lee Underwood about a year ago after I read the book with Melody, and he very kindly got back in touch with me, and I told him what I was going to be playing this evening, and this next track appeared on the Tim Buckley DVD that was released last year. It's called Venice Beach Music Boats by the Bay, and Lee and myself believe that nobody's ever played it live since Tim actually played it with a Star Sailor band back in 1970. So hopefully, unless anybody out there knows, Mr. Harris or someone knows that somebody else actually played this, we're pretty sure that this is the first time it's been played live since Tim Buckley sang it. So this is Venice Beach Music Boats by the Bay. White heat of swaying day, dark slab of conga cries, come out and breathe as warm. Salt sea and fiddles drove out on the dancing stone, while the singing blows and the music blows in the bay. Outside, sunshine was steaming. You'll see all crazy hair, dressed in the sheets of white, dragging from peak to peak, hustling his drinking dimes, oh, for the life of crime, until it cracks his heart, and the music blows in the bay. I swear there is
tug of war, 3 for the shining gun, 4 for the love of man, 5 for the hands that stand, 6 for our own bones, and the music blows in the day. I swear there is sunlight on the water. Thank you. Okay, folks, this is the last song of the night. I think it might be the one you've all been waiting for. First time anybody in the public knew about this song was when Tim performed it on the Monkeys show in 1968. He was supposed to play one of his hits and promote his album. He had a huge American TV audience at his disposal, and he just went on stage and played the song he'd just recently written, and didn't care about what the record company wanted, just got up there and played Song to the Siren, and we'd like to play it for you now. Thank you, everybody.
he plays. And a big round of applause, please, for everyone. A big thank you to Mr. Bob Harris. And also our friend, Mr. Jeff Dexter. And last but by no means least, perhaps second to last, because obviously the person to thank the most really is Tim Buckley for giving us all that wonderful music. Just somebody asked me what Tim Buckley meant to me, and I just said that he just did everything that was possible for a musician to do, from one style to another, and just committed himself entirely to it. So what more can you want from a musician? And finally, thank you to Mr. Joe Dubber for all the amazing he's come here. Thank you, Joe. You could have done it without you, and you could have done it without us. Thank you. Good night.